Okay. Can you see the slide?
Ya, boleh.
Okay. Okay, so I will start the presentation lah.
Okay.
Okay. So good morning, Mr. Raja.
Good
So
morning.
okay. So I was made to understand that you are the considered as a safety manager in based on the organization chart, right?
Ya, betul.
Okay. So today, based on my findings, I will present a short presentation on the legal register that is relevant to the labs that is under Department of Mechanical Engineering. Okay. So, what is a legal register? A legal register is a form of document or system. It details legislation that an organization has to be compliant with due to the activities it carries out. And legal register can contain a certain type of legislation. For example, maybe it's only for environmental, or it can only be for health and safety. For the purpose of this presentation, we will focus mostly on health and safety lah. Okay. The details of the organization. So, mechanical engineering department is one of the departments under the Faculty of Engineering. It offers the mechanical and manufacturing engineering course, which is a 4-year degree program. And based on what I have looked through from the department's website, they consist of 34 academic staff of various backgrounds and assisted by 8 technical staff for lab works. And currently, they have 16 labs under their management. Okay, and then this is the address and location of the Faculty of Engineering. Okay, so these are the labs which are under the purview of the mechanical department. We have the computer lab, energy, general training mechanics for solid, static, thermodynamics, and the application of thermodynamics lab. We have the fluid mechanics, physical and mechanical metallurgy lab, non-destructive test lab, instrumentation lab, control lab, studio, IDP, and we also have computer-aided engineering lab, especially for AutoCAD, and then we have CNC lab for machining, and then we have the flexible manufacturing system lab. Okay, so based on my study and our interview beforehand, I have determined that these are the relevant OSH legal requirements. So there are 3 areas of concern: safety and health, fire safety, and environment. Okay, for safety and health, there are 2 applicable acts, which is OSHA 1994 and FMA 1967. This is under the purview of DOSH. Okay, and for fire safety, we have the FSA 1988, which is under the purview of BOMBA. And then for the environment, we have the Environmental Quality Act 1974 under the purview of Department of Environment. Okay. So I will explain in brief detail what this each of these acts is all about. So Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 covers wide range of safety, health, and welfare for all occupation, except for armed forces and those who work on board ships. Purpose of the act to ensure that those who created the risk and those who work with the risk are ensured a safe and healthy workplace via self-regulation principle. And then it also emphasizes the concept of so far practicable when it comes to the implementation. And secondly, we have the Factory and Machinery Act 1967. FMA. It covers the work in manufacturing, mining, quarrying, and construction. It provides a prescriptive provision, and some of these provisions are irrelevant over time. The main way that this act is enforced is that it prevents accident and has a traditional approach whereby they use checklists instead of as per what I mentioned on the OSHA, which is as practicable, which is a different way of managing the risk. And then we have the FSA 1988, which is the Fire Services Act. So it provides provision for the effective and efficient functioning the fire service department for the protection of persons and property from fire risk. It is also give the required for designated premises to ensure that they are adequately provisioned on fire prevention and protection measures. And then we have the Environment Quality Act 1974. It is enforced by the Department of Environment. It is an act related to the prevention, abatement, control of pollution, and enhancement of the environment. It consists of 6 parts with 18 regulations, 15 orders, and 2 rules. Okay. So we have a glance at the legal register that I have prepared for mechanical engineering department labs. Okay. So I'll share the PDF file. So far, is it okay, Mr. Raja?
Okay.
Okay, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll share the PDF document just to show on the legal register that I have prepared. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Okay. Can you see the PDF file?
Boleh besar kah? Okay.
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 Is it okay now?
Alright.
Alright. So basically, this legal register it consists of these main parts.
Banyak je. Okay.
Profile, workforce profile, operations, and review of the relevant OSH legal requirement.
Yes.
Okay.
Bagus. FMA banyak ke? FSA. Okay.
Yeah.
Rajin betul.
Yeah lah.
Okay.
So this is the profile. Okay. And this
So
is
yang kita
the
anggap relevant now.
relevant with the activities of the works in the lab lah, mechanical lab.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the list of the lab lah,
Okay.
based on what I received from you, Mr. Raja. Okay. This is just for mechanical only, mechanical department. Okay. So this is the mechanical department org chart. This is based on their website lah.
Website.
Okay. So they have Dr. Noh Hisham, the HOD, and then Mr. Dr. Muhammad Shahmi and Dr. Masuri as the program coordinator. And then we have all the like academicians at the below portion. Okay. And then we have the technical support staff. So for this one, they have head staff.
Okay.
This personnel are mainly in charge for the maintenance of the lab and to assist lecturers and students when they use the lab. Okay. So this is the safety committee org chart that I have drafted based on the cadangan senarai ahli baru JKKP-FK that I have received from you, Mr. Raja. So I hope it's okay here. So you have the chairperson, deputy chairperson, the secretary, which is Mr. Abdul Halim, and then yourself as the faculty safety and health manager. And then below is we have all the representatives, academic staff, technical staff, admin representative, and then the OSH subcommittees. Okay, which under each of the head is consists of another other which is supported by other members. Okay, this chart is for 2021 to 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I have explained earlier, this is the relevant OSH legal requirement that I found that is applicable to the mechanical department, especially for the lab management, safety, health, fire safety, and environment. Okay. So there are basically 3 enforcement agencies that of concern here: DOSH, BOMBA, DOA. They will enforce all these 3 legal act and regulations. Okay, this is just a brief description of the FMA, OSHA, and the Fire Services Act and the Environment Quality. So the template for the OSH legal register that I have used is in this form. So we will have the number like for 1, 2, 3, so on for each section of the Act. Then we have the column for the Act regulation, which can consist of the part of the regulation section and then subsection, the title as stated inside the Act, and the requirement, and then action required, and the person in charge. Okay, so Mr. Raja, this is, if we are talking about OSHA 1994, this is the one that I have prepared lah. So if you can see here, OSHA Part 1, Section 1, the titles application. So this is the justification I have put in here. And then what action that is required from the department, and then the person in charge is yourself, Faculty Safety and Health Manager. And then we have OSHA Part 4 here, which consists of several sections, 15.1, 15.2a, and so on, 2b, 2c. So it describes the general duties of employers and self-employed person. And then we have this Part 4 also, the duty to formulate safety and health policy. Okay, so the requirement here is stated briefly on what the department need to do. I hope the description is clear here. And then this is the person in charge. So with this list, it will be easy for the department to identify what act applies to the activities, and then why they need to apply it, and then the required action they need to take by referring to the OSH legal act, and then the person in charge. So that it will be clear for everyone. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So this legal register I will give upon the final draft lah. Yeah.
Committee.
The committee is the JKKP just now that what you have given me. So this is the committee.
Okay.
Safety committee. Okay. So safety committee is regulated by an act also. They have the safety and health committee regulation, legal register. So this one consists of a lot of parts and a lot of sections, subsections for basically a membership committee, how to appoint the secretary committee of other members, and then how to ensure that there's adequate employee representation. So, for example, we look at this item number 4, SSC Part 2, Section 7. So if we open this Safety and Health Regulation 1996 and go to this section, they will explain briefly on how the employee representative shall be selected to represent various sections of the workplace. And then this required action is what generally the committee need to do. So this one, the person in charge, I put the whole committee because it's not just the responsibility of the safety and health manager, it's the whole responsibility of the committee. Okay, yeah. So far, is it my explanation is okay, Mr. Raja?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I hope the form is very clear. Just it's not detailed, because if you realize when you read this, they don't really show in detail what you should do. So how to do it in detail, we have to refer to the legal act itself, the document. From there, we can see what the exact things we need to do. So, but for the required action, we just generally mention what steps should be taken. Okay. Then we have all these other sections. So there's quite a lot. Actually, this legal act details very clear on what the SHC committee should do.
Part 3, semua, apa semua.
Yeah, part 3 they have a lot of section, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, then part 4, minutes of meeting, what to, you see they even give requirement, minutes of meeting within 2 weeks after the meeting. Keep the record will be kept for 7 years. So these are clearly stated lah inside the regulation.
Yalah, kayak orang tu ikut macam alim aja, hanya bola 6 bulan. Bulanan orang meeting.
Yalah. So with this table, it's very clear for everyone lah. As a reference lah, semua orang can refer to this. Where like if there's a newcomer, for example, they join the department, they can refer to this, and then they immediately know like, oh, the activities for this lab, these legal acts are relevant to the activities of this lab. Then they can always ensure that the activities of the lab comply to these regulations and acts lah. So that nothing is missed out. Just in case if DOSH comes in or what, everything is already prepared. Okay. So frequency meeting is also discussed here, or duties of the members. Okay, and then we have this another one, the NADOPOD, notification of dangerous occurrence, accident, occupational poisoning, and occupational disease. So this one is mostly on how we report to DOSH lah if there's any accident or what.
Yeah.
So this is quite important because I believe there are chances of accidents lah happening in labs. So knowing how to fill in the form such as JKPP.
Form ni tengok, ni ada 4 form nak.
Betul.
Poisonous lain, kecederaan lain.
Ya, betul. So you need to know lah macam which form to use for what kind of situation.
Mun accident apa? 6 kah? Dah lupa lah.
If I'm mistaken, there are 7, 8, 9. Let me see. If we look at the DOSH website, they give guideline to fill up JKPP 8, 9, and 10 lah. So I believe this 3 form lah yang paling penting. And then they also have, if it's for poisonous or occupational disease, it's using JKPP 7 lah. If you want to notify an accident, you will use JKPP 6. You are correct now. You mentioned JKPP 6.
Yeah.
The one is to notify accident. 8 is more to register accident or dangerous occurrence, poisonous. 9 is for the accident data, and then JKPP 10 is for data on poison and occupational disease.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's quite detailed lah, this legal register. Okay, so I continue. Okay, then we come.
Selalu keluar dalam exam soalannya.
Yalah tadi. Have to remember lah.
Ready ya? Ya, soalan interview je ya, Melvin.
Yalah tadi.
Dia akan nanya apa borang yang guna untuk punya cedera, apa borang yang perlu isi. Macam ni lah. Ayah yang soalan selalunya.
The most important lah.
Yang mesti ada 4 borang ya.
If you are safety coordinator or macam safety manager like yourself, at least need to know lah which form to use. Paling penting.
Mesti mau tahu. Ada potok one of the benda yang memang perlu tahu lah sebenarnya. Sebabnya melibatkan apa? Polisi kerja. Macam ni lah.
Correct.
Okay, teruskan.
Right, okay. Okay, so we have another one is the Factories and Machinery Act 1967.
FMA tu nya dah di baru kah? Saya dah gina masih pakai nak.
So far masih pakai sebab belum enforce kan yang.
Yes. Sebab mana dah FMA tu dah nya
ketinggalan zaman lah actually. So
yes.
More on prescriptive. Like
sebab OSHA 94 dah supersede banyak dalam 67 tu bah. Macam ni lah.
Yalah tadi. That's why they say OSHA apa-apa yang bercanggah OSHA Act 1994 and FMA it will OSHA will supersede FMA.
Yes, sebabnya latest lagi, Pak. Yes, yes.
So they will supersede, always supersede. That's the case
Yang
lah.
soalan interview ya? Yeah.
Betul. Penting kan, mau tahu. Okay, so based on my understanding of the lab, I think maybe it will involve flammable substance lah sometimes.
Okay.
Then provisions, there's a fire hazard. So I have identified this section lah, this part 2, section 11 and 13. That's what, like you mentioned, the hierarchy needs to be performed.
Melvin, besar sikit boleh Melvin? Si nampak.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
Okay. So we need to perform hierarchy for explosive lah, for example. So this one need to be done, but person in charge is head of each of the OSH subcommittee. Then we have the for part 2, section 15, provision against fire. We need to have a firefighting equipment and so on. In ERP is very important.
ERP kemau ada. Yes.
Emergency response procedure. So this is the basic lah actually.
ERP. Kemau cuma ada pengisian bangunan je.
I think need to include firefighting also lah. This ERP. Paling penting. Alright. What to do during fire. And who is responsible? Ada fire marshal ke?
Ya. Ya, semua orang ada? Ada maybe so far lah.
Ada.
Ya, ada.
First aider, siapa first aider lah. Semua
yes. First aider mau training di situ je lah.
I believe ERP tu memang dah ada lah sebab Mr. Halim will advise on this lah usually.
Yes, memangnya. Kalau ikut kan lah. Sebabnya kalau ikut jadualku 30 Mac tu is our fire drill. That's why
today lah.
Today lah sebenarnya. That's why. Tapi di cancel sebab tidak tengah discuss lagi lah. So that's why mesti jadi tu.
Fire drill is important lah sebab so that people are familiarized kan what to do during.
Yes. Yang penting. Kalau
benar dalam dokumen but never practice, there will be problem lah during the actual situation.
Ya, selalu berlaku lah.
So that's why it's very important lah. Apart from other procedure, you need to practice it. Some people they have the nice procedure but never practice. I think it's sayang lah. And then we have the Fire Services Act. Okay, requirement to have fire certificate lah. This is a basic one. Bomba they will always check kan this one.
Asalnya ada tapi nya pergi ke pejabat. Kalau Unimas nya pergi ke pejabat pembangunan.
So kita orang akan liaise lah dengan tidak kan?
Yes, memang sidap pun sidap bangunannya memang ada engineernya yang apa? Yang handle under FSA tu.
So basically the engineer from the main offices now will liaise with, for example, you yourself and the head of OSH subcommittee lah.
Certificate, yes. Sidap pun ada inspection sebenarnya dekat building tu. Kadang sidap mbak. Macam mana?
They have their own schedule lah macam inspection.
Yes. Sidap akan datang bawa bomba juga salah.
Tapi kita mesti ada representative juga lah dari mechanical department lah kan selalu. Just to follow them kan.
Tapi orang selalunya bila kita akan inform orang lah untuk jalan tengok sekali, especially on the hose, pressure hose ni akan check. Orang ada checklist sebenarnya, ada checklist diberi oleh Encik Alim maksudnya. Yang ada beri.
Macam workplace inspection list kan nanti.
Yes, orang ada workplace inspection pun on the fire
Fire equipment.
Fire equipment and then ke electrical punya parts. Socket macam lah.
First aid box pun kena check kan kadang-kadang.
Yes.
Need to see whether dalam ada benda expired ke, item dalam cukup atau tak lah.
Yes. Nya ikut apa regulationnya? Ada first aid punya. First aid pun appendix apa? Appendix 8 ke?
I'm not sure, so need to check back. Tapi memang they did mention lah.
Tapi ada mention memang dalam appendix apa perlu ada dalam first aid yang ada mention.
Some things are not supposed to be in there lah, macam ubat sapu apa. Panadol actually is not supposed to be in there lah. Sebab people they put Panadol inside.
Yes. Tapi orang sebenarnya kalau ikutkan sebenarnya Penedol lah penting sebenarnya. Hanya ikut tempat sebenarnya lah. Mungkin mau practice lah. Penedol lah still penting.
Ya, yalah, correct.
Tapi
Because it's
jangan
macam,
disalah guna. Ya.
yalah tadi.
Pernah soalan untuk keluar kerja. Masa mau yalah sida ya ratang situ ya banyak ada penedol perlu sih bah. Yalah mau dia madah boleh lah nak kita ikut buku yalah tapi madah tak perlu juga penedol. Sebab penedol nanti
Datang.
sida macam sida safety daripada universiti lain. Universiti lainnya ratang situ. Tidak expert lagi. Yalah.
Cepatlah. Kita benar tu begitu. Do slowly and consistently, then baru orang familiar. Then it will be a whole practice lah. Macam the whole Unimas kan practice lah. I believe Mr. Halim memang he's the one who take charge kan, benar semua.
Oh, nyaganya sikit Unimas. Yalah.
Sikit Unimas kan, memang andanya mas.
Besar Unimas.
Yalah, tadi. Okay, so we have the schedule West also. Macam
Schedule West penting.
What I asked yesterday, atas schedule West kan chemical kan, to dispose. So this is the relevant acts lah. And then the title in the act, and then why this legal acts is need to be put inside, and then required action lah. So basically the PIC I just put you yourself, Faculty Safety and Health Manager, and then together the person in charge, store manager lah, yang simpan barang chemical lah.
Tu memang kita mesti ikut dulu lah schedule West tu.
Ya.
Tapi orang kata memang ada apa? There is issue between Unimas and apa? Triniken ke macam mana?
Okay. I think in Kuching basically Sidak kan yang buat servis tu.
Betul. Ya ada Sidak aja. Kita
ada mahal ke murah, you have to engage them also.
Yes, actually yalah Kimong ada yang pun apa? Maybe some of the regulation yang Unimas yalah setuju lah. So this was Kimong West ni tok yang mengikut regulation Kimong dah boleh kena nya dah lebih 6 bulan bah. Kimong pun West. Kena dah seikut 7 schedule lah sebenarnya.
Yalah. They have problem in collecting or apa actually?
Nya ada problem dengan
lah.
Sidak mau ada masalah documentation masa.
Oh, okay.
Management
so hopefully by referring to this list mungkin boleh lah and iron out the issue with documentation.
Questionnaire tu issue.
Sebabnya ada wadah. If we refer to this act, they will basically just inform lah what to do semua, what type of document need to prepare.
Okay, itu online bah.
Yalah. So actually for this schedule West, it's quite a lot of sections lah kita anggap yang relevant lah they have identified. Labeling important, ada waste generator, inventory semua.
Yalah.
Yang paling penting
situ nak, mu kita nak situ banyak benda yang orang rekod sebenarnya tu.
Yang paling penting lah sebab you have to keep inventory what your schedule West is.
Yes. Dari segi inventory kita dah memang ngikut 7 schedule lah.
Labeling penting sebab if you don't label then people don't know what you put inside the container.
Yang penting label dengan segregate kan.
So ada certain schedule West, they different properties. You cannot put beside together. Maybe there's a chemical reaction, so that's one very important also lah.
Yeah.
So training paling penting. You need to undergo training lah, how to identify, handle, label, transport the schedule West lah, yang paling penting. Okay, so basically I prepared the legal register based on these documents lah. National Safety and Health Act 1994 and its regulation, and Factory and Machinery Act 1967 and its regulation, and then Environmental Quality Act 1974 and its regulation, and also lastly the Fire Service Act lah 1988. Okay. So I will stop sharing this document. Alright. Okay, Mr. Raja, is there any questions that you want to ask about what I have presented so far?
Actually mostly yang kami banyak dah buat sebenarnya.
Cuma belum saya dah legal register je lah kan.
Yes.
Benar dah buat, but there's no like a list that other people can refer to. Oh, this is what
yeah.
we have to comply to. Belum ada kan.
Yes. Sebab
So,
Unimas PTJ bergerak based on UKKP bah. Macam mana lah.
yalah.
UKKP by Encik Alim lah. Biasanya hanya akan pada apa belum buat, kemah akan buat lah. Macam mana.
That's
Apa-apa
why this list is very important as a guidance lah basically. Macam if there's a new staff ke apa, it's easy for you to tell them, oh, you need to for our labs, you comply to this lah. This X very important, what to do. So it's easy like as a point of reference. Because like my own organization, okay lah, we don't have a register, so like I know what we need to comply, but the other staff don't know. So that's why this list is very important, so that everyone knows at least a way the operation of the company is governed by what acts. Awareness lah paling penting to give awareness.
Bagus Melvin. Macam mana lah explain bisa baru lah.
Yalah tadi.
Bagus. Ada bakat.
Boleh jadi lecturer.
Boleh.
Okay, tapi I think if I have time, maybe I'll meet you lah for a cup of coffee or what kat Unimas.
Oh, boleh Melvin. Pasal kenal ke muka aku ni. Si ingat ke? Aku tahu lah.
Ingat tu. I don't remember. Ya, salah. I need to see your face.
Sila datang je.
Okay. So if there are no further questions, I won't take more of your time. So and I will end the presentation lah.
Alright.
Okay. So I would like to give thanks to you for spending your time to accommodate my presentation lah. I know you're busy because it's a weekday. Both of us are working also. So I appreciate your time lah.
Alright, thank you so much, Melvin.
Alright. So thank you, Mr. Raja. So
Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Melvin.
Alright. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.